they claimed that were forged signatures. Maybe you remember some of the accusations.
Worship and the body politics should not participate in partisan politics.
Its preoccupation now is to give a good service to the people of Zambia.
For us, we only ride on the facts. Respect the decision of the party. Whoever they hold the truth, but you know, seeking our numbers can go short. Thanks.
You were once members of the party. Yes. So it's easier for you to come back.
Top Star channel number 458 and Go TV on channel 96, and you can send your SMSs to 0978 437 437 to just be part and parcel of our program this evening. Welcome, Mr. Chikuse, to the site.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the invitation. Good evening, everyone.
Okay. Just to start our program, how are the campaigns going so far?
The campaigns are going smoothly. We are getting to the communities, interacting with the people. Of course, telling them our vision of what we are going to do once I'm elected as mayor of Musukwa. But also learning certain things that we don't know. So it's a give and take situation. We are giving them the vision. They are also giving us their own vision. So it's an interactive, process, a learning process also. But I think that so far so good. We are on track and we are campaigning.
Okay, and how is the response from the general public here in Musukwa?
I think we are getting a lot of support. There is a lot of support that we are getting, and I can assure you that though when you look at Musukwa district, it's vast, but in a few areas that we have touched and the people that we have interacted with, I think we can, we are very sure and very confident that we are going to perform very well, and probably most likely win this mayor position, because I think that the community have told us exactly the kind of mayor they want this time around. So we have a vision, and somehow we fit in the vision of the what the people want, the kind of mayor that the people want.
Maybe you can share with us what the people of Musukwa want, as well as what you are promising the people of Musukwa when you voted after the 26th July by-elections. What you have in store for the people of Musukwa, and what have you seen? Maybe the needs that you identified from your campaign, process that you've been going to different parts of Musukwa.
Yes, what the people want is a mayor that is going to represent them, a mayor that they are going to be in touch with, a mayor that is going to be a voice for the people, communicate exactly what is prevailing on the ground without subtracting anything, but report and deal with the issues as they are on the ground, find the solutions as they are on the ground, and not to sugarcoat to try and create what is not there. And that's Maya. And they want an independent kind of person who will not be, maybe for lack of a better word, who will not be A.S. Bwana kind of man. They want a mayor who will stand firm and be guided by what is enshrined in the Constitution. So that is the mayor that they are looking for. What do we want to do? There are a lot of things that we need to do. I think the most important thing, as I have said all the time, is that we want to sort out the problem that the current regime or government have failed to sort out. A simple decentralization policy to devolve power from the central government to the local government and to the people. That is what we need to do. We would want to engage the government and find out what is the problem, because we have the central government, we have the local government, we have the local government system, we have the people, and we have the words. So why is it so difficult to, in an effective manner, devolve power to the people in a logical manner? So I think that is one thing we need to know. At which point is it at local government level? Is it at central government level, where power and resources are not devolving to the people, so that the people are the key participants in the governance or local government cycle for the people. So that is the key thing, that we need to take power to the people, and the people themselves must manage, must plan, must initiate, must come up with programs that will be able to ensure that they are part and parcel, they are employed using their own the systems and so on and so forth. So that is what we want to do. So to do that, we need to take facilities to the people. We need to take the councils to the people. Now this is something that everybody has been talking about. Even the council, they are saying we take. But why? What is the problem of just putting up councils in the constituencies? We need to come up with partnerships with Parkland. We need to come up with the partnerships with the youth development, the Ministry of Youth and Development, so that youths, the women are able to access, services at a localized level. So that is how we need to do it, and that is the only way we are going to take power to the people, because we don't want people to move from the community setup to get all of them to get into town. Just to go and maybe formulate a company. We can come up with partnerships so that the companies can come on the ground and people can have access to this. And then youths could have hope, they can access loans. The women can also access through the Ministry of Community Development and so on. So we need to actualize the decentralization policy that is enshrined, for that matter, is in the Constitution, the same Constitution that was signed by our President Edgar Lungu at Hero Stadium. So that is the Constitution. So why are we failing? Now there are a lot of challenges, of course, that we may. I'm sorry, I have a call. There are a lot of challenges that we need to dwell in. Of course, there are the issues of job, job creation, and so
which
on.
is among part of what we've indicated on the flyer here.
Yeah, the most important thing is we must come up with an equitable distribution of resources and have equal opportunity for all. And I will explain what I mean by that. But I think that we have a matter that is an urgent matter. That is a matter to do with the sewer. We need to work on the sewer as soon as possible, because it is a time bomb. The last cholera outbreak, after further investigation, it came out clear that the problem that we have is the sewer system has not been managed properly. So I think that the Lusaka City Council has an eminent partnership with Lusaka Water and Storage. We need to do an overhaul of the sewer system. We need to put pipes all over in the compounds, in the so-called where they need, because this issue of water and sewer has got nothing to do with people staying in the compounds, people staying. it is a problem. You go to Olympia today, there is no proper sewer system. Go to Jalala, people have got no access to clean water. Go to, Kanyama Paradise area there in Matero, there is no water. Go to Chiruru Garden, there is no proper sewer system. And so this is number one priority. We need to work with the Lusaka Water, the Millennium Challenge, and do an overhaul sewer system. In doing this, then we also need to come up with methodologies of having an effective waste management system that will ensure that with our sewers, once they are done, they are not blocked. But whatever we are going to do, even the waste management system, it has to be done localized in a decentralized manner. The people themselves must manage their waste and then be able to communicate and work together with the council. So this is the plan that we have. What do we mean? We need to have service trucks in every ward, because when you talk about that that waste that we get there, it can be reused for the better, using the organic matter to create energy. We can use it to create other files like bottles and so on. So if we are able to use them, why not invest in it? Why not create number one, the vehicle, which is the service vehicles in all the wards. Number two, the personnel, the same people in the communities begin to work, create employment, so that they are themselves the people, the overseers of that waste management system. The bins that should be created, of course, by the council can provide bins, but to be supervised and to be overseen by the residents. So those are some of the things that we need to look at. We have issues to do with street vending. We have issues to do with regularization of in the shanty compound, the so-called shanty compound, where possible, having to give them title, having to modernize these places, having to where it is completely very bad, having to relocate them with very clear and very good compensation. Then also the issues to do with coming up with a broader, an effective manner of ensuring that we increase the revenue base that we have as a council. So these are some of the people. We have to look at the housing facilities. We need to come up with ways of ensuring that the council comes up with a housing, like our houses and so on. The council houses were sold, and we lost an opportunity to not only create revenue, but also to create housing for people, which is one of a physiological need according to the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So we may need to come up with high-rise flats. Number one, to create revenue for the council, but number two, also to house our people at a cheaper rentals. So these are some of the things that we need to create jobs in a decentralized manner. We do not need soldiers to do the cleaning in the city. Our youth can beg and clean in the city in a routine manner. For example, if you came up with a routine to say we'll be doing it constituency by constituency, or is it ward by ward? This ward is this, and people are getting paid. They go, they work, they clean the city. Do you need the soldiers? You don't need the soldiers. We need to employ the youth to do the tree planting. They can do the tree planting, and then they contribute to the cleanliness of and also helping the city become green. And also in Enelive, we can train our youths to become cashiers, for example, for the council. They help, they work, but also they also create revenue. So there are many issues that we need to look at, but I think that the priority number one is the issue to do with the sewer. Also, we need to create an atmosphere, a clear, clean atmosphere that will ensure that businesses mushroom, grow, and also are sustainable for the entrepreneurs, that is the youth and the women, so that they have access to loans. That's why I was saying that we need to have serious partnerships, come up with serious partnership with background come up with serious partnership with the Registrar of Society, serious partnership with the Ministry of Community Development, serious partnership with the Ministry of Youth and Sport. So these are some of the big things that we need to look at.
Now I understand that the mayor does not work in isolation, and you don't use decree to get some things done. And we see the council in Lusaka as the 3 wards. We have 32 councillors from the PF and 1 councillor from the UPND. Now, coming from RPP, how are you going to work? Because it is a collective responsibility of the whole council for it to come up with, to make any tangible decisions, and for it to implement what you've just highlighted here in your vision for the city of Lusaka. How are you going to fit in the council, which is dominated by the PF councillors, and also we have 1 councillor from UPND, who is from Kanyama, and they're coming from RPP. How are you going to fit in to convince the councillors for them to buy into your idea that you've just proposed in this platform?
It should not be very difficult, because all the councillors, regardless of which political party they belong to, are there to serve the people. And then the constitution outlines the local government cycle and how they need to operate. And also the council, the constitution defines the role of the mayor. So this has got nothing to do with political affiliation. It's about service. So I don't have a problem with working with the council. I can give you an example. I am currently Vice President for the Republican Progressive Party, but in my zone, in my ward where I work, I'm Zone Development Committee Chairperson. I was youth chairman for Kabata constituency under the MND. At that time we were in the ruling party, but I was working with the councillors at that time that were for the Patriotic Front. Some of them were for the United Party for National Development, the likes of Musukwa, Hankede, Chilala, and so on. So in a proper governance system, political affiliation must not bar people from working together in an effective manner. When you talk about democracy, democracy does not say that if you put in a president who is, for example, Patriotic Front, or United Party for National Republican Progressive Party, then the entire system to be the checks and balances. Where is the inclusive governance system? So I must say that the role of the mayor is very simple. The constitution says very clearly that the mayor must not, the central government must not interfere with the functions of the local government and the mayor. So it means that I have a duty, we have a duty to ensure that there is effective service delivery at local level. But of course we can engage each other because we are serving the same purpose. The purpose is to change the lives of people, ensure that people get jobs, ensure that the women are employed, ensure that the youths are updated and employed, ensure that the children go to school, ensure that we have got clean water, for our residents in Lusaka, ensure that we decongest the Lusaka city and so on. So it's about service delivery. We are not competing. There is no competition. So when you go there at local level, you are not competing with anyone. You are there to provide a service. And so in a diligent manner and using the constitution as your guidance. So unless the Patriotic Front decide not to work with me, but I think they will have to work with me because I'll be their mayor. And really, at the end of the day, we need to serve the people that would have elected me as mayor and elected the president, who is our president for the entire Zambia, who is the Republican president, Mr. Edgar Changalunga. And there were some people that elected them as councillors. So what is the difference? We are all elected by the people.
Now, there's a law that forbids or restricts street vending in this country. You've mentioned you want to preamble that want to do with street vending, and last time we chat here in interview said it should be temporal, allow vendors to go back and trade in the street. Now there's a law that has been put in place to to regulate street vending in this country. What plans do you have to ensure that those marketeers that are operating spaces in our markets do have a decent place where they can sell their merchandise?
Yes, I agree with you 100% that there is a law, and correctly so, which prohibit street vending. Now, we have a problem. The problem is that the current regime to the Patriotic Front government have not been very consistent in terms of policy direction to deal with street vending, and that is why that's a problem that we have. You know that there was a presidential pronouncement that was made by Musukwa prior to having won the 2011 election, where he said categorically that the street vendors must be allowed to trade in the streets. Because of that pronouncement, we saw a lot of people move from different areas, from different districts, from different towns into the central business. And our late President, may he so rest in peace, knows why. Perhaps he had realized that there were no jobs that had been created for the majority. Perhaps he had realized that the most engagement that other residents of Lusaka was street vending. Perhaps he had realized that he had no immediate solution for the street vendors, and yet the street vendors needed to survive, feed their families, take their children to school, and so on. So he had to make that. Of course, when you look at the law, it was illegal, but it was a political pronouncement. Now that caused a lot of problems, because now the only person who could make a counter pronouncement, especially under the current regime, the same Patriotic Front, needed to be the president, because the president made the pronouncement, so we needed another president to make another counter pronouncement. And now that caused the problem. Now, where it became worse is that when they were trying to shift policy or change the policy, they did not confine in the street vendor to tell them that, okay, now we need to shift like this, and this is the plan, the proper plan that we have for you. And then they did not create a database to say that, okay, now these street vendors, where are they? How many are in freedom? How many are what? What kind of businesses are they doing? All they did, they panicked. In leadership, the worst thing that any person does in leadership is to panic. In the Litunga doesn't panic as long as he has his peace. It doesn't matter what frightening thing is coming. He's not supposed to panic. He's not supposed to run away, or else he loses the leadership. It's the same with the leadership. When you are a leader, you don't panic. Whatever the problem that you encounter, you must be there to solve the problem. So the best thing that needed to happen then was to engage the street vendor, get information, find a way of getting information about these street vendors, and then communicate to them in an effective manner, and see how you can sort out their problems individually. And maybe others help them to diversify, others try to help them with compensation, others, then you begin to quietly, slowly. Now, the problem is that the Patriotic Front just chased them without regard of where are they going. And now you know that there are these Dakota boys, there are these gang groups that have come in. It's because of the chess moves. So you sort out one problem, then you create a problem. So those people, we don't know where they are. What are they doing? How are they surviving? And I've been in the compound. I've been all over as I'm campaigning. People are crying because they are suffering. Because the Patriotic Front made it clear to them that they could survive on street vending. That's why I was saying that for me, when I become mayor, I know that there are those other main roads, the main roads in front. There are those roads behind. Those roads behind temporarily could be used for the survival of the street. We could demarcate them in 2 meters, 2 meter, 1 meter, 2 meter. Because when you look at those areas, you're talking about the roads that you can see where the vehicle pass, Cairo, Freedom, but you are not seeing the backward. They are in a deplorable state. Okay, there's dirty and there are no street vendors there. So what we need to do, that is where we can now take our street vendors, put them in smaller, and then come up with movable toilets for them, so that for a certain period of time they could survive. Because you cannot come up with a methodology of saying we're coming up with markets, and then when the markets are done in the next 4 years, the street vendors, they will perish. So who are you going to take to the market?
So what is the your permanent solution to ending this problem of vending? Not just, maybe you can make it general, to also assist those that are watching outside Lusaka. The permanent solution to dealing with this issue once and for all.
The permanent solution is number one, helping the street vendors diversify. That is number one. Understanding their businesses and helping them diversify by way of growing their businesses. Number two is to take them in markets. Now there are two things here. If you go to Chilenje market, that is in one constituency, they will tell you that there are all the spaces, for example the vegetable, there are no people. They can't find any space. But if you go to Kawata market, what is happening is that all the tables, there are no people in the market. But the people are outside. And the people who are complaining are the people that are in the market. So it's in twofold. So we need first, number one, to come up with a very clear policy on the way forward. Now, that is after having understood our street vendors, engage them. Number one, we need to help them diversify. Number two, relocate them to areas that they can still do their businesses. Modernized markets and other areas. That is number two. Number three, compensate and help them to do that. Is the same thing as diversifying. Then number three, employ them. Find them other jobs that they can do that is also sustainable, that they could also be able to earn a living, maybe as casuals or something, but give them amounts of money with putting in mind minimum wage and so on and so forth. Number three, of course, you cooperate in the local government cycle as of course the same thing as workers, as workers, to be part and parcel working. There are a lot of things that they can do. They can do tree planting, they could do a lot of things. So they need to be empowered. So it is a gradual thing, but at least we must see as a local government to be sensitive to the plight of the people, because as I was saying, the people in the communities are saying we need a mayor who is going to sort out problems as they are. So things the way they are today, there are no jobs, comrade. There are no jobs. We can go round and round, there are no jobs. Then also we need to give trading licenses, compulsory trading licenses to the businessmen, including those people, because basically, if including those people that deal in even liquor shops, because bars and so on. The reason is very simple. For now, the government must work at creating industries, creating wealth, and creating jobs for its people. For as it is right now, people are creating their own survival means, and so we cannot be too harsh when the government has failed and the people are coming up with initiatives. So we need to give compulsory licenses, and then allow people to be paying gradually. So you go, as long as there's a toilet, the place is habitable, you give them the license. Then monthly you go, the council, we are talking about a decentralized manner, where even the council officers must get into the communities. Pakra is there, so the council now gets into those areas, and monthly they are getting their money. Those people are surviving, and then the government is also coming up with a broader aspect of ensuring that we make create wealth and create proper businesses.
Okay, now there is one issue of underage drinking. If you take even in compounds, especially in Kawata, nearby Chawama here, and also Bari, and just other surrounding areas here in Lusaka. I find that boys and girls as young as 10, 11, 12, 13, you know, engaged in beer drinking and abuse of drugs. And we've seen that the council have tried to go around in these bars at night to cramp down on underage drinking. Now, what plans do you have to make this exercise, a success, so that this issue of underage drinking is, done with? And also, there are shops, okay, that have a trading license for grocery shops, for groceries, but they are also trading alcohol without having a license. So what do you intend to do to curb, one, underage drinking in Lusaka, then two, to deal with those shops that are trading liquor and are having a legal trading license?
Yes, I think that we have a problem with underage into getting into the bars, and I think that we need to be very strong in that part. And these underage, some of them they are so underaged that sometimes you cannot know. They look older but they're young. So we really have a problem. I think that we need to stiffen the law in regards to the culprits, that is the people that allow the underage in their bars, to make it stiffer, where the council comes up and finds out that the underage are frequenting that area. Ignorance, of course, is no excuse. So there we need to stiffen the law. Then secondly, we need to create a proper neighborhood network which can deal with such issues at that level. And then, because I can tell you one thing, there is no child, there is no parent that wants his child to be found in the bars. These children are there because maybe lack of job, maybe sometimes group influence, and so even the parents really are not happy. So I think that we need to come up with proper neighborhood watch that will work very closely with the council police, but also work very closely with the police, but also stiffen the punishment on those, because at that time we've given them the license so they can trade. So now they must regulate themselves to ensure that they continue to do their businesses. So they must be very, very serious to ensure that their business are not closed because their children or their young underage getting into the bars. So the onlookers, also the neighborhood watch, in a transparent manner without corruption, has to also be there to spearhead. So there must be that network, and that will create some kind of employment, but also that will help to to curb this. And it's a very serious device. This is creating a lot of diseases. Of course, you talked about alcohol abuse and so on and so forth. So it's a very big problem. We need to also come up with a reformation center where we can take these children and take them into reformation. I worked for JICA's country, continent, where we were targeting at such kind and taking them into basic centers where we could teach them how to play Monopoly, Scrabble, chess, football, table tennis. So we need to, in the community center, we need to start coming up with these reformated, not only for the children that are getting into the class, but also for the street kids. We need to use sport so that at that time you could use that, because sport is addictive and it's something that people enjoy. So we could use that, and then once they use that, then begin to identify talents and then taking it into second sector of the economy to try and to reform them, and not at the same time to try and use them as a fuel for developing, for ensuring that we have a sustainable and strengthened economy.
Okay. Now you talked about the issue of enhancing garbage collection. And remember, the late Mayor Wilson from Rest in Peace, one of his press briefings, he did lament that people of Lusaka do not have the heart of paying for garbage. They would rather throw in drainages those people that are tasked to go and collect, like some of the people with such a shunned to subscribe to such services, and also government through the minister of government Vincent did indicate that plans are underway to create an independent company that will handle garbage collection. So the way we have voted and swallowed, but we also want to create an independent company that will handle the issue of garbage collection on behalf of the council and also on behalf of the government. Now the issue is here is the mindset of the people of Musukwa, in terms of paying for such a service. How do we intend to ensure that that vision that we have for garbage for Musukwa is a success?
Yes, you are talking about coming up with an independent company to be able to manage waste. So now that independent company, apart from having to manage waste, is it creating the necessary employment? Because when you're sorting out something, also you must look at it in a broader aspect. This issue of using private companies has been there all along. We are talking about Parkrite. Parkrite again, we are saying we want to use a private company. We are talking about now we should use a private company to deal with management waste, waste management. So has the council failed? Has the local government failed to control its people? Has the local government failed to work with its people? So I do not have a problem with enforcing. Another private company can also do that. But I think that the best method is to localize the waste management system by ensuring that we empower the citizens themselves, and themselves are able to. So all we need is to invest in the transportation and also have workshops in terms of the mindset, questionnaires and so on, so that in the community are part and parcel of the garbage waste management system.
Okay. Then also you mentioned the aspect of, before we go for a short break, the issue of enhancing revenue collection. Maybe before we go for a short break, just under 2 minutes, what plans are there to ensure that the council is sustained in terms of finances?
Yeah, of course we need to depoliticize the markets, depoliticize the stations, because those are some of the areas that council gets revenue from. Then also we need to increase our revenue base by regularizing areas where, because when you talk about waste management system, if you look at the shanties, they are not regularized, they do not pay rates, and yet they are part and parcel of the waste management cycle. So we need to regularize so that these people could be given certain documents, so that they could contribute to the rates, hence ensuring that the waste management, whatever system is done better using that finance, so also increasing the revenue base. The other issue I was talking about is that we need to come up with high-rise houses, because right now we cannot build the way we used to build. We need to come up with high-rise vehicles. Number one is to create
that were forged signatures. Maybe you remember some of the allegations.
Worship and the body politic should not participate in partisan politics.
Bakateka na bakwaka digital, its preoccupation now is to give a good service to the people of Zambia.
For us, we only ride on the facts. Respect the decision of the party. Whoever they are going to choose, but seeking our numbers can go a short.
You were once members of the party. Yes. So it's easier for you to come back.
Aya marali enango vaota vantu kukwera kusokolo, but UPP is trying to show a difference.
The issue I'll never rest until we see justice served.
Unamotuwaikala Julius, unokusekelela, unyemba wati, tuachula sana. Ama voting yaisa ba MP kama bakunkura tukotele ifatu kakusha ifro. Tuweba kotela tobale tato declare tinaba wina. Bati sitatila.
It's a motion that attempts to destabilize the governance of this country, if at all, by whatever misfortune it succeeded.
Claim that we are forged signatures. Maybe you remember some of the calculations.
While chief has a body policy, should not participate in partisan politics.
Pakateka now Kwaka Digital, its preoccupation now is to give a good service to the people of Zambia.
For us, we only ride on the facts. Respect the decision of the party. Whoever they are going to choose, but
understand his vision for the city of Lusaka, and I'm now joined by Mr. Musukwa. He's also a candidate for the UPPZ for the mayoral by-election, which will be taking place in July 26, 2018. And those are watching us on Movie TV, channel number 43, Top Star, channel 458, as well as GoTV channel 96. Welcome to the program. Good evening, Mr. Musukwa once again.
Good evening, how are you?
I'm
good to be back.
Yes.
How was the day?
The day has been fine, and that has been the campaign. So.
It's Tamanga. We are running.
Okay.
We are not waiting for anybody. We are running a campaign that is a revolution. It is the first of its kind.
Okay.
And everybody is excited. I'm excited. Okay. My team is excited. The community is excited.
Okay. Now, from your engagement with the community during your campaigns, how is your response so far? The response from the community so far?
It brings me to tears, actually. You see, I'm coming from a level of zero popularity to a level where I'm competing at the national level. We can call it the mayoral race. You see, the first thing that I needed as a candidate is to break ground. But God has given me so much favor that the ground is already broken. I'm just walking into a path that I don't even know. Zambia is about to see history remade through Madam Musukwa at the age of 25. I'm excited. You see, other people are looking for the big endorsements, but number one, my endorsement is from God. Number two, my community have endorsed me. My mothers, my fathers, my sisters, brothers, colleagues, friends, the youth have endorsed me, and that is enough for me. I don't really need any other endorsement.
Okay. Now, how does that make you feel, being a young man amongst the so-called old politicians?
Well, I was just telling my colleagues that I think this is the right time to actively participate in leadership. You can imagine how I'm feeling. I've been in Bauleni, I've been in Kamanga, Charleston, Kaundaska in one day, plus the NBC, and I'm still going. Now imagine the other guys, the big guys. The energy that is needed, it's massive. That is why I think this is the time that we need to give the youth a chance to lead. So coming to your question, how does it feel? It feels great, because I'm managing. I'm excited, and the people are excited.
Okay. Now, from your interaction with the community, what needs have you identified that you want to sort out the moment that you are elected in office come July 26th?
Okay. Firstly, let me take this opportunity to tell you, or to notify the viewers out there. Good evening to my viewers. First of all, is that every morning, I think 2 weeks ago, we have a routine. We wake up as early as 5:30. We strategize. We put our day into God's hands. Then we hit the road. So we were passing through the CBD, and I was so disturbed with what I found, which is in the CBD town, Freedom Way, Lumumba, those things. The town was filthy, very dirty. It looked like accumulated waste for 3 days. And the town was alive. This is at 6 hours. The town is active, buses are moving, people are opening shops, but the town is dirty. And they said, number one is that we have a dead council. A council that does not know its primary role, which is service delivery. Without wasting a lot of time, I told my team that starting from tomorrow, which was last week, we will be going on the streets to clean as volunteers, free of charge. So number one is that service delivery is one thing I want to sort out in the city of Lusaka. We cannot have a council that is sleeping. We cannot have a council that wants to work when it wants to work. It's like you go in shop, right? You buy a biscuit, you go to the till, then the till will come 19, and that's what we'll give you, and this is 8 hours. That is not service delivery. So basically, we've got a council that is dead. So the first thing that I want to fix is this whole idea of the civic council, because before I even deliver to my people what I want to deliver, first I have to fix the car, the engine that's going to drive the vision. So basically, number one, what's key to me is service delivery. I want my people to get what they pay for, because we pay tax. Marketeers pay tax, bus drivers pay tax. Do you know that even street vendors, ones with IDs, now pay tax? So everybody's paying tax in town. We're pushing them over, tax. But town is just in a mess. The council has got no direction. Maybe it's because we have no mayor for now, but it's only 15 days from now, and there will be new energy injected in the council.
Okay, now for new energy, what plans do you have now to sort out that problem once and for all? Not just in the CBD, but across the city of Lusaka.
Waste.
Yes.
Listen, waste is not. We look at waste in the wrong view. We look at waste as chishala. We look at waste as the final end product. But do you realize that waste is an issue of household level first of all? Because the sexuality begins at a household or at home. So before we even look at the waste that is in town or everywhere, what are we doing as a council, as a city, to educate our people about waste in their homes? Because the known fact is that whether poor, whether rich, whether average, we all generate waste. So it is a problem that needs, I beg your pardon, this is a problem that needs serious attention. I can give you an example. I was at the school, I was at the University of Zambia, School of Education. My department, School of Education, was the cleanest in the whole institution of all, even up to now, simply because of policy. If you are found next to a paper, you pay 20 kwacha. If you are found next to all these things, it's simple. We need to educate our people about waste. That is number one. Then, how am I going to use waste in my reign as mayor? How am I going to take advantage of it? Number one is that when I'm mayor, waste in Lusaka shall be used as direct avenue for the council. Ask me how. You see, I've been doing, this is why these positions are for young men with fresh energies. I've been doing a research, and it is so profound that this whole waste theme. Someone has already done research about it. Someone has already helped us think. So in the research that I carried out, I realized that in my reign as mayor, I will introduce separation of waste at any level, household level, in a shop level, at any level. I can give you an example. We will have 3 types of bins or plastics, whichever you would like to tell. There will be recyclable, which is plastics. There will be one for paper. There will be one for organic. So at household level, you will be required to separate waste. If you are throwing a plastic, or example of ShopRite, only plastic of the recyclables. If you are throwing an ole container of cooking oil, it's in that container. So even coming to paper, it's in its own category of the waste. Coming to organic things like inshima, grass, things like that, we throw it in one plastic. So that when the council begins to collect these things, they will come to your bin and they'll look at, okay, this is plastic. What is in this plastic? Oh, okay. Oh, this is an ole container. Let us take it back to ole. So that way, we will not have one situation where we're getting waste, taking it to chunga, where it becomes waste rather. So basically, in my reign as mayor, waste will be a direct revenue for my council, because I realize that we need opportunities in Osaka. They keep saying there are no jobs in town, or rather in Osaka, there are no jobs. Those are jobs. We need people. How can we have a council that is collecting 30% of the waste and 70% is in private hands? We need to reciprocate that. We need a situation where the council is solely responsible for waste collection in Osaka. That is one way that we shall revenue. That is one way we shall revenue for the council. So basically, the waste crisis in Osaka, for me, I'll use it and I'll take an advantage of it and revenue it, directly create opportunities and create revenue for my council. And there'll be no this thing of you pick up a litter from one place, take it to one place. Then there's no management. A vision is something that clarifies a problem. So basically, we need to sort out waste completely. The same way there was a kick out malaria campaign, and in Osaka we had 0 malaria because it first started with education and implementation, and that's the key. So basically, I'm well ready for this whole idea of waste, because I'm even excited.
Now, there's one of the roles of the mayor is promoting citizen engagement and participation. How are you going to enhance this bond between the public in Osaka and your office as your mayor?
That's a very interesting question, because you see, as it stands, the council and the public, or rather, yes, the public, it's become a Tom and Jerry issue. When you look at the council and the marketeers, it's always it's sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's sad. When you begin to see when you're on a bus, then you hear no, my council, the way people begin to run. But how can we have a situation where the council and the public have created a situation of rival? How is that possible? Then what development are we trying to bring as a council? In my reign as mayor, I want to harmonize the relationship between my people and the council. We need a situation where people can freely go to the council. You see, I was shocked because you see, when you're in leadership, sometimes you think you know it all because you are ready. But some barmen approached me and said, sometimes we have the vision to run these things, but we don't know what to do. We don't know the papers that we need to get. We just know that I need capital. I'll go to Commerce or whatever they order beer and put them in the shop. But the problem is that when the council come, they'll look at your wall and they're going to be like, you don't have that. Then they'll grab your property. But why isn't it that the council can educate us and say, okay guys, you're doing a good thing. We're giving you 2 weeks. What you need is this license, this license, this license. That way, that is helping. That is being a council that is delivering. We don't want a council that is always finding our people. We don't want a council that is always on the back of our people. Hence, in my reign as mayor, I want to harmonize the people. I want to harmonize the council. I want the council to be a place of refuge, number one. The council to be a place of solutions. A council to be a place of hope. We cannot have a situation where our own local people, citizens of Lusaka, don't have capital for for certain businesses. I can give you a clear indication. Like my party, United Prosperous and Peaceful Zambia, UPPZ, the president, the chancellor, we have empowered over thousands of citizens in Lusaka with businesses free of charge. No carnover, no interest. We tell them, okay, this group, what business do you want? Okay, tufuna salawan, okay, tufuna tomato, tufuna yamankuku, things like that. So basically, if a party which is in opposition can have such a program or an empowerment for its people, as the council, we can emulate that. Why can't we have situations where, okay, since we're the council, okay, we're going to give our people small loans, a loan of 2,000. As you open your business, you'll be paying towards your loan. Things like that. That way we will make a city that, number one, is in love with each other. Not this issue of if you're found, they confiscate your goods, they take you to council, fast track, fast court, and you're told to pay 2,500. You don't have prison. How can you have a country that its own people are living in fear? A people that were generating directly, if I can give you an example of the marketeers, street vendors, people who were generating directly into the revenue of the economy, now they've become lepers of the city. These have become, we're giving them names, we're giving them titles. How can we have a situation like that? I can confidently tell you that my own mother took me to school and university through Salawola. Yameni, we should see. So basically, this idea that street people who are doing these small businesses to man-timbers are not adding up to society, we are mistaken. We are wrong, because those people have found the living. So we need a way on how we can empower them, safeguard the health, safeguard the city, and in all, make Lusaka a better place.
Okay, maybe the other thing is the issue of land encroachments. We've seen that people are building on road reserves. How are you going to address that problem?
I think that problem is it's an issue of law and order. Basically, it's like you are told that we've given you land for Greatest Road just to build there. It means there's something wrong. So even as people, that is simply because number one is that our council has been reduced to working under political parties. It's been reduced to not adhering solely to our mayor. I know of situations where a house, is it a office, was being built in the right here in Kamala, was being built right in the middle of the road. It's law and order. That is why when the council came, they broke it down without any remorse, because the council has the blueprint. So basically, that is misconduct, if I can call it. It is lawlessness. So it's not even something that I want to labor on, because it's an issue of law and order. So if you do the wrong thing, the council will do the right thing to rectify it.
Okay, maybe under a minute, you appeal to young people in terms of avoiding being used as tools of violence as you campaign this election.
Great. Today, as I was coming out from City Market, so my colleague was coming from Kawe, so we needed to pick him up from Hero Stadium. So unfortunately, our car decided to break down at a PF barrack. This is a car that is branded. This is a car that has horns, speakers, I think, and it just broke down at the barrack of the PF. And this is 9 to 10. So you can imagine the kind of chaos that was there. We were harassed, we were pushed here, and bear in mind I'm a candidate. They had no remorse, they had no courtesy. So basically, what I'm saying is that to the youth, let us not do our elders, the people in power, the people who've been using us for power, have one secret. They get us something that will benefit us now, so that we can give them power. This is something that I'm urging my youth. Let us forget this politics of a t-shirt, this politics of a 50 kwacha. Let us begin to engage in leadership of the future, because it's me and you that are the key to the future. We are the future. So let us take the front row. Let us be the change that we want. So to my youth, let us rally behind the first ever youthful candidate in the mayoral race. If you employ me, I will employ you. To my parents, you've suffered enough. You've taken us to school, but now they're telling your children that Mulibe experience Munga Sevens. So enough is enough. and our parents have faith in me, because I am here to bring a change that has never been there ever.
Thank you very much, Mr. Musukwa.
I am humbled.
Okay. This has been Society, which comes to you every Wednesday between 18 and 19 hours. And I was speaking to my immediate guest was Mr. Chikuse from the Republican Progressive Party, and Mr. Musukwa from UPPZ, also candidate for Lusaka City for Mayor, for Lusaka Mayor, which comes on 26th of July 2018. This has been Abdi Kalombo, and thank you very much, and God bless you, and see you next week, same time, same station. God bless you.